Thank everyone. We have some of the finalists joining us. Congratulate everyone again, all the finalists, because this is an opportunity. You have a first view of this exciting project we're working together with Mr. Ignacio de Leon and Directo, that he'll talk about a little bit, and why Young America's Business Trust. This is the first time we're presenting this in the environment of the TIC Americas Finals. So we're really excited to have this opportunity. I wanted to quickly explain how this will work. We're gonna have Mr. Ignacio de Leon presenting with the platform, how the platform works. Again, this is another tool that, in collaboration with YBT, Young America's Business Trust, and with Directo, we're looking to offer the entrepreneurs in our region, and we're piloting and presenting this first to the finalists. So this is just another resource that we're looking to always help the development of entrepreneurs and their businesses in the region. So I wanted to quickly give a description of who is Mr. Ignacio de Leon. He's a crowdfunding and blockchain entrepreneur. He's the principal at Directo, which he'll explain a little bit further, which is an investment crowdfunding platform for the real estate industry in the US and Latin America. He's also the principal at Citizens, a blockchain technology company specialized in government user cases. He has ample multi-regional experience on competition and regulatory reform strategies. His broad knowledge and experience the political economic issues involving institutional reform in Latin America and Central Asia. He's also an expert in Latin America in antitrust and trade policy, intellectual property, and investment promotion. He has worked at the Venezuelan Competition Authority and studied in London law economics at University College of London, and also received a Master's of Economics at the Universidad Francisco Marroquín and a Master's of Law degree at University of London. You have his contact information, Twitter and LinkedIn, which we invite you to also connect with him. Mr. Ignacio Leon will be with us in Lima, which is great. So you will also be able to talk to him in person and learn a little bit more about all his work and how this platform can further help your business grow. So I wanted to turn over, switch the presenter to Mr. Ignacio de Leon. Thank you again, Mr. Ignacio de Leon. Welcome. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm putting your screen. Let me see if it shows. Yes, it's showing your desktop now. Feel free. We have about 50 minutes. Feel free to do the presentation. We want to leave about 20 minutes in the end for questions, if you don't mind. And the floor is yours. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Rafael, and welcome you all. Yes, I'm very pleased to be here today. I have to say I'm working from home because there is a huge snowstorm hitting Washington right now. So, you know, if the communication seems to be a little bit slow, that may be due to the effects of the storm. So I hope that everything will work just fine. But let me introduce a little bit what I'm going to talk, what I'll be talking about. My intention here today is to speak with you to show you the functionality of the Directo portal. Directo is a crowdfunding portal specialized on rewards and equity crowdfunding. I'm going to be talking a little bit about these concepts in a minute, but just to highlight perhaps a little bit of the story behind the development of the platform, we conceptualized this project around a year ago, basically to highlight the need of immigrants in the US requiring capital to pursue their financial goals. All the founders of Directo, in one way or another, are immigrants in the U.S., and we suffer the negative effects of not having access to capital in the U.S. If you want to move to the U.S., basically you have to undergo a process of reviewing your credit scoring. But if you have no credit scoring in this country prior to your arrival, well, then you have to pay higher interest rates or other penalties, financial penalties, as a result of not having previous financial background in this country. So with that view, with that goal in mind, we venture ourselves to develop this platform. And we knew that many immigrants coming to the U.S. are from the Americas, from Latin America and the Caribbean. So we thought that it might be a perfect match to align with YBT. I had worked as previously with YBT as a judge for the TIC Americas project. Last year, I represented the IDB, the Inter-American Development Bank, at this event. That's in a nutshell the story of my life, of my recent life, in connection with the development of Directo, and my involvement with YBT, and why we decided to ally with this excellent group of people. Now, coming to your needs as fundraisers, well, I'm pretty sure that you may also, in addition to participating in the project, in the TIC Americas project, for a full year, you may wonder what will come next after you have developed your business plan. You have received coaching. You have received training from experts on how to prepare your business plan and to evaluate your markets, etc. And so you may be wondering what comes next. Well, I'm pretty sure that you may be asking in particular, how can you specifically develop a strategy for raising funds that will help you get to your next level. Well, crowdfunding is one of the ways in which this can be done. Prior to the development of this concept of crowdfunding, which started around 2006 and 2007 in the film industry mostly, before that, young startups did not have many options to raising their capital for their financial needs, but to get to friends and family, and eventually hoping that their project will be seen by a venture capitalist with financial might to promote their project. The problem is that usually friends and family for young startups are scarce. Unless you come from a wealthy family, you may be in a position to limit your capacity to develop your project, because you may not be able to get the financial outlets needed for. You may have not many friends with enough cash or interest to risk their capital into your project. And on the other hand, venture capitals usually don't really look at companies until they reach a certain level of financial turnover, which in this case, in the case of the US, for example, usually starts from $1 to $2 million of sales. Obviously, if you are at a moment of your startup development where you're not even selling any products, but you are essentially betting on one great idea and a sales pitch, well, then you had a problem in front of you. Now, with the development of the digital technology, and specifically in the fintech sector, in the financial technology sector, new possibilities came about for startups to find capital. And one of these possibilities was crowdfunding. Initially, the type of crowdfunding that came to being was rewards and donation crowdfunding. In the case of donation crowdfunding, people got mostly people working in NGOs or NGOs related to to projects they wanted to develop, they could get capital just from altruist people that will be willing to give some capital to projects that they thought that might be worth to be developed for altruistic reasons, essentially. So basically, you, as the promoter of a project, you went to the social network and structured a way in which people will give you money in exchange for the development of certain nonprofit goal. In the case of rewards, which was the second way that evolved out of this need of raising capital for startups through digital platforms, well, promoters, or what the US legislation calls them, issuers, will get money in exchange for certain samples of products or services that they were expecting to produce at some point in the process of developing their technology and the process of promoting their company. So I'm gonna go into the details of how this is done in the case of Directo. As I said earlier, we are a rewards crowdfunding platform. We're also an equity crowdfunding platform. In the case of equity crowdfunding, essentially, which was a newer way that evolved eventually out of this process of innovation in the financial technology sector, in the fintech sector. Well, in this second type of crowdfunding, people will get shares or will get the possibility of investing in bonds, in letters of compromise for debt. And in this capacity, investors will get either a portion in the equity of the company, or will get interest in addition to the capital they would give to the company, and in exchange, the promoters or issuers will get funding for developing their projects. Directo is also an equity crowdfunding platform, as I said before, but we're not going to go into the details of this particular area because this is a highly regulated area in the US, and we are well aware that most projects of the TIC Americas, they come from Latin America. So there will be additional legal hurdles that will have to be complied with in order for us to recommend this particular avenue of investment for startups coming from Latin America. You will need, for example, to incorporate a company in the US, legally incorporate a company in the US in order for equity investors to join into your projects. Maybe we can talk about that in another moment, but for the time being, I will concentrate myself into rewards crowdfunding, which is the essential way in which we expect to serve you as a digital platform. Let me move then to explain to you how exactly you join in the platform and what you need to do in order for you to get a glimpse of the projects, and how do you upload your project into the platform in case you want to do this. Before I do that, however, let me make a little reference of the advantages of doing this exercise, because the obvious question in all this is why would you be interested in joining a platform like Directo or any other rewards platform? The reason for you to do that, it's that it will give you the opportunity to be exposed before thousands or hundreds or thousands of potential small investors that will be interested to watch your project. As I said before, prior to the involvement of this technology, you had a very limited options in your friends and family Now you can reach scores, hundreds or thousands of people that might be interested in placing small amounts of money in exchange for your offering of services or products that you will be developing to them. So let me explain then how is the process of registering in the platform. Essentially, you will have to sign up. You hit in the button signing up. You place your name. And well, as you can see, I have already registered, but let me do this through a new. I'm gonna register a new account. So I'm gonna make a makeshift email account. Wait a second. You will get the specifications at every step of the and basically now I'm in. As you can see, I registered myself with a new name, and I'm already in. I have the basically when you register, you reach this section of the portal, and in this section of the portal will assume this is your dashboard essentially, and your dashboard reflects two types of condition that you can assume while working with the platform. You can either be a fundraiser or a promoter or an issuer, in which and in this case you will have a list of the projects that you have raised or that you have that you are promoting in this section, or you can work also as an investor. If you are interested in a project that has already that has been uploaded in the platform, you notice that you would like to invest some, you're interested in one particular project, you can invest in that project, and that project then will be listed here, and the platform will give you a specific idea of how many. I mean, you can invest in several projects, and then you will have a record of how many projects you have been investing in and the amounts that you have invested in them. Also, in connection with the projects that you have raised. So presumably, as you are startups looking for capital, your project will be listed in this first area. You also have the user information, the profile. You can change the profile. You can add your picture or and specify things that you would like to specify. Let me clarify that if you want to edit any section of the portal, you have to hit the button so that the section highlights, and then you can work changing whatever you want to change in there. And then to save the information, you have to click back the same button, and the information will be recorded, as you can see. So let me move forward. I mean, I'm sure if you have any questions along the way, of course, feel free to ask them, and we can move into them. I'm not going to wait for the question and answers section. So feel free along the way as I move forward to interrupt me if you wanna participate in asking any question or making any comment. So let me move now to the section where you can see what projects you have in the portal. This is a section Browse Project. If you are an investor, that will be the option of an investor. You will have to look into the projects that are available in the platform. This section highlights what are those projects. Of course, these are makeshift projects. These are not official, fully completed projects. These are only for testing, But I'm going to go into one project that I raised, that I prepared for you, so you can see specifically how it looks in the platform, because this is the way your project will look once you upload the project into the platform. So you'll see that you have a video of the project. This is all information that you will have to add into your project as we move as required by the platform. I'm going to be explaining this in a moment, but I just wanted to to go to the end of the story to tell you how the project will look once you have added all the information that we require along the way. So you will have a video of your project. You will have underneath, you will have a specification of what project would that be, or where is it from. In this case, it's sponsored by the YABT. There are other projects in the platform that will be shown in addition to yours. So this is an important reference. This will highlight the stage of development of your project, the type of project that you're raising, the sector that the project is about, the location of the project, city and capital, and certain hashtags that may help your followers to identify your project if you want to socialize them in your own social networks. Also, you will have the name of the project right here, a little picture of the project. In case you have a legally incorporated company, you will have to add your legal name here. A very brief reference to what the project is about, and here you will have an idea of how much money you have raised and how many backers you have for your project. Also, how much money you are asking is listed right here. What type of crowdfunding would that be? There are two modalities in crowdfunding that you can apply for. One is the all or nothing. In the case of all or nothing, basically you ask your investors to give you money for a certain period of time, but if the amount of money that you're expecting to get on that period of time, let's say 30 days, is not reached. Let's say that I didn't reach this $45,600 in the 30-day period. I'm saying I need to collect this money. Well, in that case, all the money will be reverted back to the investors. There is a second option that you can choose from, and that second option allows you to get as much money as you get along the way. So if you don't reach the threshold of $45,600, but let's say that you only get $20,000 at the end of a 30-day period. Well, if you have stated in your campaign that that's the modality of campaign that you will be rewarding investors, well, then you get the $20,000 at the end of the 30-day period, and investors will know in advance that those are the conditions laid down in your campaign, so that no complaints can arise, and everyone is assured that the goals of the campaign are fulfilled. Let me stop there to make a very brief comment about risk, because I feel that that's an important reference to be made in connection with crowdfunding campaigns. The whole point of a crowdfunding campaign is to make your investors aware of a lower risk, because the point here is that you are competing with funds, for obtaining funds with other possible outlets of interest for investors to put their money in. Essentially, you're telling your investors that you're offering them an option for getting their investment back in conditions that they will be rewarded. by getting a sample of the product or a certain amount of the service you will be providing as a startup. But it's important that you persuade them that by in doing so, they will assume the lower possible risk, because money is very, as they say, money is very very much afraid of being invested in one place or another. If you want to get the money that you're looking for, if you want to raise the $45,600 in this case, you really have to make your investors confident that they will get their money back. Since this is a rewards crowdfunding type of offering, they will not get shares or any sort of equity or debt instruments in exchange for their investments, but they need to be sure that the money they're placing in your company will be rewarded. And in this way, how do you persuade them to do that? Well, you persuade them by, in the first place, by telling them that they don't have to invest the full amount, the $45,600, but just a portion of it. Let's say $50 or $100 or what have you, but not the full amount. And that's one important way of persuading them that that their risk will be low. A second possibility for them to be assured that they will get their money back or their rewards back at the end of the campaign is by giving them a very clear sense of what your product is about. That's the whole point of showing them a video of your product, or telling them about you, about your company, about your past, telling them a very well put story of why you decided to become a startup and what's your goal, and that they really need to see you as a person that has a clear sense of purpose in the development of your idea. And we give you the possibility to do that by we Directo give you the possibility to do that by letting you upload your video, letting you also the possibility of preparing a sales pitch, which is essentially included in this area. The project summary is intended to give you the opportunity for you to tell investors your sales pitch. That is the reason why you decided to become an entrepreneur, and who is your team, and what is your financial expectation, and everything that is involved in the project. Also, you have to upload certain more detailed specification of your project, of what your project is about. This is the project document. The section is right here. If you have a business plan, this will be the section where you will business plan be seen, and you hit the button and you will get essentially a copy of the business plan that you have previously uploaded in the platform. You see? So what else? Okay, another way of telling them about low risk is this all or nothing type of campaign. Usually in crowdfunding campaigns, all or nothing campaigns are more reliable than the ones that are not all or nothing. The ones that all you can take, all you get, you take it. And the reason why is that essentially? Well, the reason why essentially has to do with the perception of investors that that you have certain goals that you expect to accomplish, and that's the reason why you are asking them for a certain amount of money. In this case, $45,600. What is behind this number? Well, behind this number is essentially a calculation of all your budget your financial costs of money, how much you expect to grow in a certain period of time, how much that growth will imply in terms of hiring people, paying your labor, your interest, your taxes, etc. So if the thing is, if you don't get the full amount of money, there is a higher chance for you to fail on those goals, and that's the reason why when you raise when you set up a campaign in terms of all or nothing, you're basically implicitly telling your investors that that you will be ready to move forward as long as you get the minimum amount that you're asking for that stage of your development, of your corporate development. In other words, you assume that if you don't get all the full amount that you're asking to pay for those expenses, there is a higher likelihood that you will not succeed in achieving those goals. And therefore, there is a lower chance for you to comply with the promise that you're giving your investors early on, that at the end of the campaign, you will be able to produce certain amount of rewards that will be used to compensate them for their investment. So that's the reason that statistically, you can see that all or nothing campaigns tend to be more successful. But here in Directo, we wanted to give you the chance of structuring your campaign also in terms of, giving you the alternative to get to tell your investors that, no matter that you don't get the full amount at the end of the 30-day period, you will move on by maybe asking other people to put the remaining amount that was not met, so that you can move on into your next stage as a startup. So that's essentially the point I wanted to make with risk and the importance to pay attention to this all or nothing versus the take what you get type of campaign. One more thing that I wanted to say is that Directo has customer service that is ready for you to answer your questions as you upload the information about your campaigns into the portal. So feel free to contact us anytime that you feel that it's necessary for you to clarify any questions or any doubts about how to raise your funds. Excuse me for one moment, please. Okay, so let me. If I wonder, I have been speaking for a little while now, and I just wanted to know if there are any questions by you. I'm trying to find the buttons related to this particular webinar, but unfortunately, I seem to be a little bit lost here. Hang on.
Hola, Ignacio. No, I can help you. What are you looking for exactly? What do you need to know?
I just wanted to see if there were any questions in the audience before I move on.
At this moment, we can open when you ask for questions, everyone, the participants, you can put the little hand symbol that you can have a question, or you can write your question directly in the part of questions, the notes. But so far, nothing immediate. Perhaps we can continue, and then maybe in the end we can share the questions if they come in, as they come in.
Okay, very well.
Thank you.
So let me move on then. Okay, I have been speaking about rewards. Now, how would the potential investor know what type of rewards are you offering. Okay, this is shown in this section here on the right-hand side of the screen. I gave you 2 examples of rewards that you may be thinking of. This is a little bit. I'll try to be funny here. First pledge: if you get $100, you will get a chance to have a dinner with the CEO of the company in Arby's. Well, that's one. You may be offering that if you want, but of course, that will maybe it will not make your campaign very attractive, but that's an option anyway. Or you can offer a pledge of $500 and get to a dinner with the CEO at a better place. Or you can have different other options. There is a whole range of rewards, and we are preparing a guide on what type of rewards you may be offering your investors. Rewards may be. I'll give you one specific example of a very successful rewards crowdfunding campaign about a little watch called Pebble. Let me see if I can find. Excuse me. Just wanted to show you. This is a Pebble Watch. This the initial money. The startup that came up with this design for a watch that measures not only time but also your body temperature and heart beating and other bio data. Well, they didn't have the money to invest in the company. They did not have enough capital, so they started looking for people. They didn't get many people to support their idea. They went to a bank in Wisconsin. They did not give them the money. They tried several times. Finally, they gave up. They decided to go then to a crowdfunding platform, a very well-known crowdfunding platform called Kickstarter, and they decided to prepare a crowdfunding campaign. Well, they were starting with the idea of asking for about $500,000 for their campaign. They eventually got something in the area of $20 million at the end of their campaign. But it's interesting to see that the way they structured their campaign was essentially around rewards, in the sense of that they said, well, we don't have any, we don't want to give away any equity on our company or any, or we don't have, we're not willing to adhere to any bond issue or any other debt instrument. So what we're going to offer investors is essentially a sample of the watch. So basically, they told their investors, we're going to give you one watch if you invest X amount of money, which I don't remember at this point what amount of money that was. I think that it was something around $25, if my memory is correct. So for that amount, investors could get at the end of their campaign, and certain time devoted for the production of the watch, they got essentially their watch in return for their $25 investment. And in this way, the important thing is that they could raise. I mean, I'm speaking of the promoters of Pebble Ltd. They could get these huge amount of investments. They got eventually $20 million, which exceeded all the expectations they had about raising money through social networks. Of course, this was a very successful case of a company raising money in a portal. it's noteworthy to this event essentially shows how investors are willing to invest little amounts of money in things that they find interesting to invest if the project is well designed and well structured. And this is exactly where our added value as a company, Directo, gives you, that we have experts that know the quality of a crowdfunding campaign and how investors will look into crowdfunding campaigns. We have experts in social networking, in social in digital marketing, graphic design, and other staff that will give you full support of your crowdfunding needs. So the final point I wanted to show you is how you create your project. Let me go into this section. You hit the upper side section of the menu, and then you have 3 different options that you can explore. My suggestion is that you structure your campaign in terms of rewards. That will be your best option. We can get into that in the Q&A section if you want. If you go there, the platform will start telling you exactly what needs to be uploaded, what type of information we will need from you to structure your crowdfunding campaign. So here is the first section. You see in this menu over here that highlights as I move the cursor of my computer. Well, you have different sections. Each of these sections will show you different aspects of information, different type of information that needs to be uploaded in the platform. The basic section essentially asks you about the title of your project. Let's say, let's call it Project America, just to give a name. Two-line statement asks you what is your project about, raising money for profit. That's a very general statement. Then you need to add your video. This is highly recommended. We feel that this is a key driver of any crowdfunding campaign, and so it's absolutely necessary that you upload a video. The video has to be less than 2 minutes 30 seconds long. The reason why we limit videos to that timing is that people's span of attention usually is very short. So the way to do this essentially is that you go into your YouTube, where your video will be presumably uploaded, and you click here the address of that particular site of the YouTube section, at the YouTube portal, and it's automatically uploaded. Then your elevator pitch, just gonna type some English here. Your public address at the internet. Let's say what would be I'm thinking of one. Well, let's say capital. And a project image. This is important for you to to add as well. It will give you a kind of a look into the into what exactly is that you want, the image you want to convey in your project. Let me look for a Rob. Let me see this one. The location, the city, category. In the category, you have to look into what specific area of trade or commerce your project is about. The stage of development. Let's say you're already in the state of selling, and whatever indication here as a keyword. You may add as many words as you. I mean, you have 5 possible options. Let's say just to add any name. Okay, and that will give you, that will highlight, once you're done in each of the sections, it will highlight a button here. You have to click on it so that your information is stored in the platform. And then you move into other sections. The second section will ask you about the legal name of your company. If you have a logo, let's say you have a, let me add here one logo. You're
Mr. Ignacio, this is Rafael. Sorry to interrupt you. We just have about 5 minutes left. Well, we have 10 minutes, but we wanted to leave 5 minutes for questions. No, it'd be interesting if you could just through this timeline to show us all the different steps in there, just as a quick review, if you don't mind. And then we have 2 questions that came in to check.
Okay, let me hear the questions, because I'm basically through here. You know, it will take us like 15 minutes if I move on each of the sections until the end. So
okay,
I don't think that we have to move, that we have to look into all of these, because this is pretty obvious. And as I said before, we have a customer service people that will answer any questions. So let me hear the questions that the audience has right now.
Sure, absolutely. There's one question that can a company create multiple projects that need funding at the same time? So let's say it's the same user and putting different projects in the platform.
In the platform, you can add as many projects as you want. That's something that the platform allows you to do. But obviously, remember what I said before about convincing your investors of the risks involved. If they perceive that you don't have that you are I mean, if they realize that you are the same person behind several projects, because this is something that you have to state. You know, you are legally bound by the references that you state, but that you make here at the platform. That's something that we make sure that you sign a legal contract saying that all information that is being given to the platform is truthful, right? So let's say that you have 3 projects and they perceive that you are the same person behind the same, you know, behind 3 different projects. Well, the obvious question they will ask themselves is whether you have the capacity as an entrepreneur to promote 3 different investments at the same time. You see, 3 different startups. So that's obviously one limitation that the platform will not require from you, but obviously you want to make your campaigns as attractive as you can. So my suggestion is that you try to limit yourself to the real extent of your possibilities.
Absolutely, that's a great point. Perfect. Another question that regarding the setup of the rewards. Is there an idea somewhere they can look as examples that exist? Some of them might not have done this in the past. I know they can. But do you have suggestions of other websites, other places they can see as examples of reward?
Yeah.
That they can offer.
Yes, you can look. Well, we're preparing a guideline for rewards. That's something important that has to be said, and that will be found in the section Learn. I didn't speak of this section right here. The section Learn right here will send you. I hope that it will do that quickly. It will send you to the blog session of the portal, And in that section of the portal, you will find different highlights of things. For example, this is in Spanish. We're going to be translated this into English in the next week. But what do you need to do before launching your crowdfunding campaign, for example? So you hit here, and you will get that that information. Well, it's waiting. It's a little bit slow. But also, what type of the specific question was here? Here it is. So what do you need to do? Seven tips to upload your campaign. Your crowdfunding campaign.
Fantastic.
But obviously we will have one specific section of these in this area of the portal will be devoted to specify what types of rewards are necessary. I mean, are usually found in crowdfunding campaigns. And obviously, if you do a Google search, you will also find many examples of this. That's not. There's no shortage of information here.
Great. Another question that just came in, but another a question before was regarding, and I think you answered that already. You have a team that will help the entrepreneur guide. You'll guide the entrepreneur in setting up their campaign. You have that support system in case they get lost, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a 1-800 number at the portal.
Okay. And an email? Is there an email contact in case they're from outside of the US?
There is an email contact as well. It's all right here. This is the main page. You have 1-800 number and info Directo. And obviously, given that you guys are participants of the TIC Americas program, we will also have your emails, and you will have ours as well. So, I mean, our personal emails, so you can reach us anytime. But yes.
No, fantastic. And we're looking forward to also, you're going to be down in Peru, so you're going to meet all of them. One last question that came in, and I have to close the session, is hello, what are the conditions? I am wondering if at the end I have to pay something for using the platform. So I think, is there a cost structure? How will that work? The question basically.
The platform, yes, no, that's a very good point, actually, because obviously this all, this facility has a cost, but we don't charge anything upfront to the issuers, to whoever wants to use the platform. So you can upload your project for free, and you only get charged if you get money out of your program, out of your project. So let's say that you were raising, you were expecting to raise $50,000. The platform helps you raise those that particular amount, $50,000. Then we get a share of that. I mean, a small fraction of that amount, which is 10%. 10%, which includes the payment that we have to do for the usage of the platform, our programmers, the customer service area, people who prepare information and content for the platform to disclose, lawyers that will review the documentation that needs to be signed in order for any campaigner to raise money through this media, and also the payment processing company, because in the end, you need to have a third party that will give the platform the possibility for structuring the means for receiving money from investors, and a PayPal or Visa or credit card payment processing company that also has a commission to be paid, but altogether is 10%. Usually, crowdfunding campaign platforms in the US will charge you between 8.5, or you have platforms like Catarse in Brazil that would charge you something in the area of 15 or 16% of the amount that you raise. We charge 10%.
Excellent. No, this helps a lot. No, thank you. We really have very little time. We thank everybody